Can people really change? Can someone living a destructive life turn everything around and become not just good, but great? Today's story proves the answer is yes, and it all started with one Christmas sermon and a commitment to pray the Rosary every single day. This is the remarkable true story of King Alphonsus VIII of Aragon and Castille, a man who went from disgrace to glory through the power of the Rosary. Let's set the scene. We're in medieval Spain, and King Alphonsus VIII was in serious trouble. He had been leading a disorderly life, making choices that went against his faith and his duties as a Christian king. And God had allowed consequences to follow. The king had been punished in several ways. We don't know all the details, but we know it was serious enough that he lost territory, lost battles, and was forced to flee. He had to take refuge in a town belonging to one of his allies. Imagine being a king, yet having to hide in someone else's territory for protection. The mighty had fallen. But on Christmas Day, something happened that would change everything. Saint Dominic, the great preacher and champion of the Rosary, happened to be in that very same town. He was doing what he did wherever he went, preaching about the Rosary. This wasn't just a casual mention. Saint Dominic spoke with power and conviction about the graces that people obtain through this devotion. He painted a picture of what the Rosary could do in people's lives. And then he said something that caught the king's attention completely. Saint Dominic mentioned that those who said the Rosary devoutly would overcome their enemies and regain all they had lost. For King Alphonsus, sitting there in exile, having lost territory and power, these words must have felt like they were spoken directly to him. Overcome enemies? Regain what was lost? That was exactly what he desperately needed. The king listened attentively throughout the entire sermon. And when it was over, he didn't just go back to his life. He sent for Saint Dominic privately. He needed to know, was this really true? Could the Rosary actually do what the saint had promised? It probably sounded too good to be true. Saint Dominic's answer was firm and confident. He assured the king that nothing was more true. But he didn't just offer empty promises. He gave the king a challenge. Practice this devotion, join the confraternity of the Rosary, and see for yourself. Put it to the test. Try it and witness the results. King Alphonsus made a decision that day that would alter the course of his life. He resolved to say the Rosary every single day. And this wasn't a casual commitment that faded after a few weeks. He persevered for an entire year, day after day, beads in hand, praying faithfully. Then came the next Christmas, exactly 1 year after that life-changing sermon. As the king finished praying his Rosary, something extraordinary happened. Our Lady herself appeared to him. Can you imagine the king's astonishment? The Mother of God, standing before him, speaking directly to him. And what did she say? Alphonsus, you have served me for a year by saying my Rosary devoutly every day, so I have come to reward you. I have obtained the forgiveness of your sins from my Son. Just let that sink in. 1 year of faithful daily Rosary prayer, and Our Lady had secured his forgiveness from Christ himself. But she didn't stop there. She held out a rosary and said, "Here is a rosary, which I present to you. Wear it, and I promise you that none of your enemies will be able to harm you." This wasn't just any rosary. This was a gift from heaven, carrying a divine promise of protection. Our Lady vanished, but the king was transformed. Overjoyed and greatly encouraged, he immediately ran to find his wife, the queen, to tell her everything. And here's where another miracle occurred. The queen had been blind, she had lost her sight. The king touched her eyes with the rosary Our Lady had given him, and instantly, her sight was restored. She could see again. But the miracles didn't stop there. Shortly afterward, the king gathered his troops and, with the help of his allies, boldly attacked his enemies. Remember, Our Lady had promised that no enemy could harm him, and she kept her word. The king forced his enemies to give back all the territory they had taken from him. They made reparation for his losses. They were completely routed and defeated. And this wasn't just one lucky battle. King Alphonsus became so successful in warfare that soldiers came from all directions to fight under his command. Why? Because whenever he went into battle, victory was assured. People recognized that something supernatural was at work. And that was because the king never went into battle without first saying his rosary on his knees. The transformation was complete. The king, who had once lived a disorderly life, now made sure his entire court joined the confraternity of the Rosary. He saw to it that all his officials and servants were devoted to it. The queen also joined the confraternity. Both of them persevered in serving the Blessed Virgin and lived very holy lives. Think about the journey we just witnessed. A king in disgrace heard a Christmas sermon about the Rosary. He took it seriously, committed to daily prayer, and 1 year later, Our Lady herself appeared to reward his faithfulness. His sins were forgiven, his wife was healed, his enemies were defeated, and his kingdom was restored. More than that, his entire character was transformed from disorder to holiness. What's the lesson for us? That it's never too late to change. That daily, faithful commitment to the Rosary brings results that exceed our expectations. That Our Lady keeps her promises. And that transformation isn't just possible, it is what the Rosary is designed to bring about in our lives. King Alphonsus VIII started his Rosary journey on Christmas Day. Why not let today be your Christmas Day? Why not make the same commitment he made and see what Our Lady will do in your life?